So we'll move. We'll start with the couple of slides, and then we'll move to the Agile demo. We'll see how enterprise agility is being taken care by Agile. So to start the problem statement here, like what are we discussing today, right? So what an enterprise need? What is the current enterprise challenges which they face, right? What do we mean by enterprise agility? So there are, so if you see at the left hand side, there are customers, right, who give us, their expectations or feedbacks to the enterprises, right? So here we have CXO level executives, your portfolio managers, right, your procurement executives, and many other key stakeholders at the enterprise level, right? So they interact with the customer and they identify the high level business objectives, and which they form in terms of spreadsheets or emails. They make presentations over it, right, and pass it on to portfolios, right, for larger portfolios. And these portfolios then drill this down to program teams and product teams, where the product teams will actually create roadmaps, and those roadmaps will be taken up by the execution teams. So your execution teams maybe include your developer or testers, and then so these execution teams could be agile, but what is happening here is they are working in silos. And then the key CXO executives, they don't have any visibility what is the execution team doing. Any point in time, if they want to see the status of business objectives, there is no single source of truth where they can just go and see. So the teams or the projects or the products could be agile in their own way, but when we talk about enterprise agility, there are no such platforms majorly available in the market who would provide that particular visibility across the enterprise at different levels, right? From your enterprise level to different portfolios and programs and products to the execution team level. So that is the visibility which we are talking about here. Now, as we understood, what is the problem statement or the challenges which enterprise level key stakeholders face, right? So this is we are going to talk about in today's session. Now, how to resolve that, right? This solution is having a connected enterprise. So where you see the enterprise level business strategy, right? It is rightly connected to your project delivery team. So this is drilling down to your portfolio level, and from portfolio to program level, and then from program to your execution or project delivery teams. So this connected enterprise is what is the solution, where you have the top level executives also have visibility what is happening at the ground level, right? So that will be making certain benefits which are here, right? So if you see, there will be a shorter delivery cycle by automating critical tool chains, right? Then it will obviously increase your productivity. That's your second benefit. Third is there will be a strong connection between your execution teams and your strategy teams, business strategies. There will be a clear vision of value creation across the organization. You can trace it, right? You can collaborate between the team and see the traceability, where is what is happening. Time to market is significantly reduced, and you deliver faster. And then happy stakeholders. So this is what our connected enterprise agility will bring to us. To enable this, we have Agile, right? So if I Agile is a product. It's an enterprise agile planning and delivery product which helps enterprise build and deliver innovative software solutions faster to the market, right? So at the bottom, if you see this particular diagram here, we have right from idea generation, right? So when you create, you have a vision statement or you have an idea, then you define those ideas into your backlog items, right? Based on some analysis or your applicability or which requirement is more important. Basis those backlog grooming items you do, and then you plan those backlog items into your releases and sprints, and then develop it. So your developer and testing team comes into picture, and then deploying it. So right from your idea till the deployment of that idea is taken care by Agile. So this is an end-to-end software development which provides the value stream right from end to end, right? Now, when the problem statement which we are discussing, which is the enterprise agility, how does it bring that? So Agile gives you picture wherein you can handle your execution teams, right, which are aligned to your product teams, which define your features, roadmaps, and releases. And those product teams are aligned to your portfolio level, larger vision statements and business strategies, right? So all these layers are available in Jile. You can scale right from execution team till portfolio level, or you can have start with portfolio and manage all the way down, right? So that is the capability Jile provides. Now, what are the benefits along with it? Jile will help in bring the enterprise agility, right? So it helps business stakeholders and teams to collaborate effectively and thereby deliver valuable software faster. Jile is an enterprise class tool. So I may also say that it is a single enterprise class tool available on cloud in the market right now, which can handle multiple distributed teams at one go, right? And it can give you the visibility of all those distributed teams which are there in your organization, right? Through its customizable rolled up reports which it provides, right? It helps all the stakeholders at different level. So you can have your customized reports available at team level, product level, and portfolio level. So the key stakeholders, if they want certain reports pertaining to them, they can definitely generate at different levels, right? So that's how the transparency of what is happening on ground is there. So the connected enterprise agility is available right there in Jile in a single source of truth, right? So that's how Jile will help the enterprise to bring agility. Now, three more value streams which are supported by Jile, which are relevant to this topic is at the three different layers, right? So one is the strategy layer, wherein you define your vision statements, and from those you define your larger business objectives, right? And these objectives you want to track in terms of OKR and goals, right? And this could be larger business objectives which has a larger time frame of a year or half a year, right? These are not as small as stories, which are identified at the business strategy layer. Then below that, we derive strategic initiatives or business epics, which we call, which are coming from your larger objectives. So these are defined at your portfolio or a program layer, right? So how do you measure those in terms of your custom dashboards, track progress reports, and also the budgeting? So that Jile also provide the budget functionality in terms of dollar value for each business epics, right? So that's how you can also track in financial numbers. So that's another value stream at the portfolio or program layer. And the third very important value stream is the execution layer, right? So wherein the actual teams work upon it. So the demand capture happens in terms of your features and story, and then those are developed and tested, and defects are raised and everything, and then delivered by the teams. And at this level also you tend to create your reports and your release and sprint progress, your dashboards, everything. So all these three value streams are supported by Jile, and which are majorly there in any given enterprise, right? So it brings agility right from top to the bottom of execution layer, right? Now, there is one more slide before I actually show you how Jile will enable that connected enterprise picture. So Jile is a SaaS platform hosted on cloud. And then if you want to know more about Jile, you can simply go to www.jile.io. You can enjoy a free trial of 30 days with 20 users, right? So this is a 1 month free trial available. And then there are multiple help and videos and blogs about Jile. Obviously, in today's session, with the limitation of time, I would not be covering most of it, but at a high level. So if you're interested to know more about it, you can simply go to the videos over there on this particular thing. With that, I'll quickly move to the Jile actual product demo. So this is the actual homepage of Jile once you log in or once you create a free trial over here. So at the bottom, if you see, if I can just yeah. So at the bottom, if you can see, as I've mentioned, right from envisioning your vision or ideas to refining them into backlog, and then planning into release and sprints, and then developing, testing, and deploying. End to end is what Agile offers, right? And the left side, there is one panel wherein you can actually, manage the functionalities at different layers of your organization. So to start with, there is this one demo in hierarchy which I have created, which I will explain in a minute. Before that, I'll quickly show you this new workspace over here. So if you see here, Agile has 6 pre-configured way of workings, which are Agile framework, industry level frameworks which are available, right? So if you see, one is a single Scrum team. So you can obviously go ahead and opt for one single Scrum team or one single Kanban team. If you follow disciplined Agile, we have a configured workspace for it, or large scale Scrum or Agile portfolio, or an enterprise level scaling framework. So since we are talking about enterprise today, I'll just quickly show you what all is there in this. So you can simply go ahead with a single program having multiple team layer, or solution with multiple programs, right? So there is a solution layer above it, and then which is catering to both the programs, and then program has multiple teams within it, or a portfolio which has multiple programs running, and then each program has multiple teams. Or you can also have multiple such portfolios with multiple programs and multiple teams. So that's how, and a solution layer catering to all these programs. So that's how the scalability can come into picture, and this is highly configurable in Agile. So basis what your organization is designed. So this is a kind of pre-configured workspace which comes in Agile. You can simply opt for it and start adding your requirements and start planning. So what I'm saying here is, right from single Scrum team to an enterprise level is what you can achieve in this particular product, right? Which will bring in the enterprise level agility. Now, when I say there are products which offer agile way of working, but majorly they work in silos. So the projects are, being managed. The project teams are agile, but they are working silos. They are not aligned to a particular portfolio or a larger product, right? So that way, if you need a unified view of an enterprise level, you can simply go ahead and choose Agile from the website. You can also go ahead and try it, right? So this is where you will actually start creating your workspace. Now for today's demo, if I see, this is one ABC International as an enterprise I have chosen, right? So here, this is a larger workspace which has work areas within it, right? And these are the value streams within this larger enterprise. And these are the smaller containers within a large container of ABC Enterprise, right? So like automotive, retail, sales and marketing, HR, IT, and all. And within this work area as automotive, I have multiple teams, right? So this is the combination of my Scrum and Kanban teams, which are working with, which is the agile release train participating at automotive layer, right? So this is the hierarchy which I'm talking about, from execution team layer to a program layer to a portfolio level and the enterprise level. So to start, and similarly, if you want to have multiple such portfolios managed separately, you can go ahead and create multiple such workspaces, right? And manage your portfolio separately also, or within an enterprise also. So to start with, I'll show you what all is managed within an ABC International work area here. So these are all different containers. When you go into it, it will offer different functionalities at different levels. So team level functionalities will be different vis-a-vis the enterprise level functionalities which Agile offers, right? And you can very well manage these apps from the configure menu. Now, when we are talking about enterprise, right? So the vision statement is very important, wherein they record their strategic initiatives which they want to deliver in certain frame of time, right? Which could be something like your customer segments, what is your value propositions, what are the values revenue streams which you are targeting at, right? What are the channels this revenue stream will be coming from? So it could be anything, the vision statements which you need to identify. And visions, they doesn't have any per se the timeline to track it. There are the statements for a larger time frame which we recorded for an enterprise, right? Now, from these vision statements which we have identified for our enterprise, we derive larger business objectives, right? So these are, so if you see this OB2 is objective 2, larger business objective 1. So these are certain demo objectives which I have identified. If I open one of this, which says improve user experience. So here there is a description to it, the OKRs which are related to it, right? Reduce customer queries, increase customer subscription or anything, right? So you can see the meter whether the OKR is met or not. So from the vision statement, I have derived my larger business objectives, and these objectives are further divided into my epics, right? So here at the bottom, these are my business epics, or which you can also call strategic initiatives, right? And then if I open up one of the epic for you, which is EP25, which says simplify customer journey, right? You can have multiple such details around this epic, like description, what is the success criteria, in scope, out scope, right? And then this is the parent entity, which it shows and other details like who is the owner and where it is planned and everything. Now this epic, which is coming from objective 1, is further divided into features, right? And those features will be further divided into stories, so that it can be planned into smaller time frames and can be tracked, right? So now if you see this particular epic is divided into these multiple larger feature requirements, and then these features will be derived divided into multiple user stories. So if you see at the bottom, these are the 3 user stories which will be covering this entire functionality of this particular feature FE56. So now what I'm trying to show, and if I just quickly open one of the user story here. So user story is the smallest entity in any agile Scrum team, right? And then this user story will have its own detailing around what is the definition of ready, definition of done, any constraints, who is the owner, which team it is coming from, which work area or your value stream, right? And then which release and sprint it is planned into. And at the bottom, if you see, there are this task and test. So task is my development task, which I can add. And I can obviously go ahead and add my test cases, right? And I can see the pass fail and record the test data and everything about it. I can raise issues and defects, right? Impediments, attachments, and everything. So that's how, if you see right from a portfolio level where you have identified your enterprise vision, and then those vision divided into multiple objectives, and these objectives are further divided into epics and to features and user stories, and then user stories are taken up by the teams and added the task and test cases. So this gives the entire visibility right from your enterprise to the execution team layer, right? And obviously when there are, this is the visibility which we're talking about. Another thing comes for the key stakeholders at CXO level is reporting and dashboarding, right? How should I track it now to see where my objective is going, how many are done, how many are still in progress, are there any impediments which are blocking that particular thing to be done, right? So if I go to, so at each entity level, which we will be seeing, there are different kind of reporting which is available. So when we talk about the objectives, OB1, so here, if you see, there is a track progress report which gives its progress in terms of, the child epics which are there. What is the status of each epic, if it is done or not, right? How many features it has been divided into, and how many are done? How many stories it has been divided into? What is the OKR met and not met status, right? Similarly for features. So this is one of the progress report which is rightly available on the objective screen. And other than that, we also have dashboards and reports which you can create on the fly within the system on any of these entities, which I will show you in a time. So what we have seen till now is enterprise will have its vision. From vision, we'll have the objectives, and then these objectives will be further divided into epics. Now we'll see the portfolio backlog. So the backlog will will be different at different levels. So if we are talking about a portfolio backlog, it would be in terms of epics. If we talk about the backlog of a program, it could be in terms of features. And if we talk about the team backlog, it could be in terms of stories. So the backlog entities would differ at which level you are working at, right? So this is my portfolio level backlog, which talks about business epics or largest strategic initiatives. So here you can see the different status which I've identified, right? And you can simply drag and drop a particular epic one state to another. And obviously, this is all access control based. Who can move it and who can, make, create, update, and delete the changes. So here, these are the status, and this is all configurable. So I can quickly see, like, okay, my business epics are at which status, right? How many are done, and how many are in progress state? How many are still in funnel, and I have to get it reviewed in analysis state and to move it to backlog. So that's how easy view in terms of status is also available. You can simply export import all these details of each entity anywhere in Jile. So this is my portfolio level backlog I'm talking about, and just the way I have shown, if you click on this particular epic, you will have its own details, right? And then, for example, if I click on this epic, EP25, it will give me the details of this particular epic, and then this epic is divided into how many sub features, right? And so on. And then you can drill down to see each level entity, right? There is a quick view available here, and you can also see a board view of it and see that, okay, out of these features, how many are done, how many are in progress, all those details right at the bottom, right? So this is a quick view available. And also, like I said, for epics also, I have this track progress report. I can simply go ahead and click on it, and it will give me certain charts, which will like burn up charts and CFD charts, to see whether my epic is moving in the right direction as I have planned, right? And the number of features, story points, if it is moving rightly in the order which I want. So this is the status progress which I can go ahead and check for larger epics and business objectives. This is all we are talking about an enterprise level. So since this is a larger epic, we are having a track progress of each epic, right, status wise and all that things. Once we identify those epics into backlog items, we can also allocate the portfolio budgets to it, right? So Jile offers this budget functionality in which one can manage and update portfolio budget in terms of what is the allocated budget and consumed budget. So this consumption of budget is coming from the per hour effort which is logged in by the developer or tester. So as I have shown you, this epic is divided into multiple features and stories. Then when the developer and the tester is logging in their per hour effort in the system, the cost associated to that per hour billing is calculated and rolled up to the epic level. So that's how the calculation is being done. And the consumed budget changes with the allocation, and you can see the available budget. So this is how you can simply see that what is how much is allocated, what initiative is taking much but larger budget with which. So those kind of investment decisions this key stakeholders can take. So this is the budget functionality which is available for your business epics, right? Now this is pretty much at the enterprise level, wherein you can have your larger objectives and business epics, and you can keep a track of those in a given particular time frame, and then you can allocate budget to it. Certain dashboards and which I would like to show here at the enterprise level is, other than the progress reports which I've already shown for specific objectives. So there is this dashboards and reports which are available. So you can create your own public or private dashboards. You can go ahead and add a new dashboard. For demo purpose, I have created one over here. So this talks about my portfolio performance, wherein I can see the epics initiatives, which we also call epic, the status of that and the summary table of it, my business objectives, a quick view of it, like what is the OKR met and if it is on track or achieved, right? Then the initiative burn up charts and so on, right? So this is how I can simply go ahead configure, and I can simply add from the repository of my quick views available for creating this particular dashboard. So that's how this is one of the dashboard which I have just shown. And similarly, you can go ahead and create the reports, which are your epic level reports. So for example, this one report, if I have to show you at the portfolio level. So here it shows that the epics are coming from which value stream, right? your automotive entities and at which status these particular epics are, right? There's a simple bar chart format, and you can also go ahead and create a tabular format as well. So, and you can also filter those particular things. The filter is available right here. So if you see here, I have my, ABC International and list of all the epics created, and then these epics divided into multiple features, right? And then features into user stories and so on. And I can put a filter and create the view which I want, or I can export it into Excel and create the other views which I want. So this is how simply you can go ahead and create your own reports and save it for your future reference, right? Or you can simply go ahead and add a table. You can configure your own tables. So this is a report designer which creates a report on the fly at any given layer. So when I say at the enterprise or portfolio level, I'll be dealing with the objectives and epics, right? Or the capabilities. And then at the program level, I may deal with features and defects and so on. At these, team level, I would deal with my stories and sprints and task tests. So all these entities are available, and you can simply go ahead and choose that particular entity and start creating your reports, right? Simply dragging and dropping this particular entity. So I'm sorry, the net is a little slow. So for example, I don't know. So I have to create, choose a story ID, story name, or story status, anything which I want. It will be populating over here basis what you're choosing from here. So that's how easy the report designer is, right? And you can save it for your future references. So this is pretty much at the portfolio level. Now, coming to the other value stream, wherein the automotive, which is primarily our program layer, which deals with multiple agile release, which is an agile release train and deals with multiple teams. So here we have combination of Scrum and Kanban teams, multiple teams working together in a larger time box called release, right? So this at this particular work area level, the functionalities which Agile offer will be different, right? So to start with, you can the enterprise level which I have just shown, right? It is for the enterprise which want to go ahead and add their enterprise level details. If you don't want to add it, Agile doesn't force you to do that. You can simply go ahead and add a program layer, and you can start with the combination of such programs execution, right? And you can also opt for a single Scrum team of execution also. That's how the flexibility Agile provides. So as I've mentioned when we were creating a new workspace, right? So what Agile offers at a program layer is what we will see now. So the program, we could have our vision board similar to what we had at the enterprise level. Now the another thing is the program feature backlog, right? It is similar to what we have seen in the epics. These features could be derived from the larger business epics or could be a standalone features, right? And then you can see this is a quick view of seeing all those features and the WSGF scoring of it, whether it is the estimate of it, how many stories it has been divided into, right? And which team it is taken up by, all those things. And then obviously there is a board view, which gives you a status wise, a quick view of all those features. Right, so that's how you can, and you can once analyze, you can move one feature to another state. So that's how my feature backlog would look like. These features are further divided into my product stories, right? So I can also see what are the total product stories which are available, right? And the board view of it, those stories. I can simply import those particular stories from an Excel as well. So if you see here, what I have designed is I have a backlog of user stories. I have taken it up for to do status, and then in progress, in dev done, QA done, and all those things. So that's how my storyboard will look like. Now, once I have defined my feature backlog or a product story backlog, another thing is the planning, which is very important, right? So how do you do that? So in Agile, you have all those release planning and sprint planning and tracking the progress apps. So for example, this program increment roadmap. So program increment is another term for your releases, right? So this, if you see for FY 2021, so just give me a moment till the time it's loading up. Yeah, so in this financial year 2021, I have these many releases which I have planned, right? It could be 1 month, 2 month releases as per the and then what are the larger level goals, what are the larger epics it will cover, and these features which it will be, uh, okay. So this is one of the release view over here. It has its description. What all teams are participating in this release? What is the start date, end date? What is the status of this release, right? And then who is the owner of this release? And how many iterations or sprints, which we call it, has been divided into, right? And the sprint duration and the sprint capacity, which you identify. So that's how the planning of my release roadmap will happen. Now, once I have this roadmap identified, I will, go ahead and plan a particular release. So if you see, in 2021 we have all these releases, and if I plan this PI6, which is my release 6, I go ahead and plan it. There you can see multiple other details, right? Like how many sprint it has, how many teams which are participating, what is the release story point capacity, right? How many features are planned, how many stories are planned, and if the story plans. So yeah, that's how my release planning would look like. Now, dividing these release backlog items into sprint is another second step, right? So if you see here, this is a sprint plan available right here, and there is an app of sprint planning separately also. So you can go there and plan your sprint from the available release backlog. So if you see, I have 2 and 3 iterations as part of this particular release, right? I can simply here itself, I can plan unplanned stories to as part of my one of the releases, right? So that's how I can plan my features, my stories, and my test suits as part of each iteration, and I can see the story points, whether my 100% capacity is met or not, or it is exceeding the available capacity of the team, right? So that's how the release planning would happen. A very unique feature Gile also provide is the dependency board. So while you are planning it, right? So you need to see that whether there is no planning conflict between the features or stories taken up by the different teams when we are talking of larger agile release train. So this dependency board helps you in deciding that there is no planning conflict between the stories, right? So if you see here, so as I was mentioning that these are the teams which are participating in this particular release, right? And we have these iterations, iteration 1, 2, 3, and then the stories which are planned. So you can simply drag and drop the user stories if they have a planning conflict. So this red line shows there is a dependency of user story this, and there is a planning conflict. So that's how you can remove those planning conflict by looking at this dependency board, right? So this is the release planning of it. Now, once you are done with your release planning, right, the next step is release tracking the progress of those releases, which is very important view for the product owners to see. Now, this PI progress is where you will be able to track those release progresses. So we were talking about release 6, so we'll track the progress of it. So here, if you see the sprints and the feature done status, the number of stories done, how many story points are done, any impediments which are open, right? Any dependencies which has been highlighted by the team. And then at the bottom, you can see different charts available, right? Burn down and burn up and CFDs, summary charts, and then sprint progress. Similarly, your feature progress tabular format view, right? So all those things which you can see is rightly available in while you track your release progress. So for example, this feature is here. I can see the status, which team is working on it, who is the owner, how many stories it has been divided, and how many stories are done. Any test cases which are done or in there. So similarly, all those views will be available with respect to your defects, user stories, and test suits. Right? So that's how your release progress would look like. Similarly, we have a release dashboard available, which will be giving you a quick view of how my release is functioning. I'll quickly show you with respect to my feature by team, test cases by team, right? So all those things, issues by team, and all that. One more very important part of a release is the release retrospective, right? So we tend to do release and somehow we close it on time, or some items are left. So we need to know that what went well in this release, what was not right, and we want to improve in the next release planning which we do, right? So the release retrospective helps you to do that. So if, for example, if I just open up this retrospective wherein you can record what went well, what can be improved by the team, right? What are the action items which has to be taken up in the next release? So this kind of release retrospective and release achievement boards are available for you to highlight those things. So as I have mentioned, similar to that, the sprint planning will also function. Your sprint planning, sprint progress, sprint dashboard, and all those things. So I'm not going to show you because it's similar. Now, other than that, the reportings, obviously at this level also, we will have different set of reports. So for example, this is an issue aging report or a defect aging report, right? So I have all those issues identified, what are the status of those, right? How many days it has been pending in each status, right? Similar to that, for some reason there is a network issue and I'm not able to move it. So, status wise and effort wise, all those details will be coming in for this issue aging report. Similarly, you can have other reports, your test management reports, right? Test run reports. So these are primarily for your, teams which are working on test cases, right? Test run details are available and all those things. Yeah. So, and obviously you can go ahead and create your own reports and dashboards as I have, shown it at the ABC International layer. So these are all the reports which we have generated, and you can simply go ahead and open and configure those reports. So that's how the reporting will come into picture, which is very essential part of each layer where to track the progress of the entities which we have, recorded in the system. Now, to this, we also have a deployment pipeline, which is a DevOps pipeline. With the interest of time, this I'm not covering in today's session. We can plan it in another session. Now, so two layers we have already seen. There's the last layer, which is this execution layer, which is the teams, right, which actually work upon these tools. So the developers, the testers. Right? This particular work area is for them. These functionalities are specific views available only for the team level, users. So if you see here, I have a team backlog, right, and that will be in terms of my user stories. So which will be taken up as part of a particular sprint, and it will have its owners and everything. Now, other than that, my sprint related details, right? The other views which I was talking about is the task and test cases, right? So if you see my task board, so these are my development tasks, right? So for user story 134, I have these many tasks which are in to do, in progress, and to be verified and done status, right? I can simply go ahead and add a new task to an existing story, or I can see the progress of all those tasks which are happening. When I open up this task, I can see who is the owner, right? So if I just quickly open up a development task for you, how much is the planned effort, what is the consumed and remaining effort to it, any work log, any impediments which has to be raised for this particular task. So that's how my task development task board will look like. Another is the test case board. So the testers, they also want to see how many test cases are passed, how many are in fail or blocked status. So for example, this requirement user story has these 3 test cases, and if you see this one, this is a multi-step test case. So when you run it, you can see whether it is pass or fail. So you can simply go ahead in the test case and make it pass or fail, or you can simply drag and drop from one state to another. So to show that this has 3 test cases, 2 are pass and 1 is fail. So similar to that, all those use stories will have their test cases, and the tester, who is the owner, can decide whether, today if I'm working on this test case and if it is pass, I have to move that. So once the real time updation of data happens, the reports which are generated will show you the daily progress of each test case or user stories for that matter. So that's how my test case board will look like. And then another is the issues, right? So this issues is nothing but defects, which we call in Agile. So here, if you see in the issue board, I have these user stories. For each user story, I have added issues. And then these issues, you can see at the different status. These status are obviously can be configured as per your team. So which are open or which are verified or fixed or deferred, right, or accepted to be fixed. So all those issue or defect boards you can also create and see within Jile. So this is pretty much, and then obviously reports which you can go ahead and create at your team level. So this is what I have shown you, right from your team level to your automotive level to your ABC portfolio level and all those things. So different stakeholders has different layers to cater to, and they can drill down at any level to see the actual progress of their project or portfolio at any given point of time. Now, other than that, a few other things like email notification and access control, collaboration, which is there, which the Jile provides, which is obviously there. So if I quickly show you the collaboration platform over here. So this is how you can collaborate between your teams. So if you see this, there is this TA stands for the task. Similarly for issue, so you can hashtag a issue or a task or a user story, and tag a particular user and write the message. Right. So for example, approve or this is pending or anything like that, and then people can like, reply, and work upon it. And once you tag a person, that will go to his work queue as a notification, and he has to work upon it. Right. And it is visible to all. This particular thing is available within that entity also. You can go ahead and create a discussion, or you can come to collaboration platform here, and then you can write your discussions to resolve. So for example, this is a user story tag, so you need to work upon it, right? Sorry. So this is the collaboration platform, and we also have a document repository in terms of your files and notes, so which you can go ahead and create. So that's pretty much from the Jile, coverage perspective. I'm happy to take any questions if there are any, Nupur.
Thank you so much, Neetu, for the amazing demo. I have a couple of questions. We have 3 minutes. Let's see how many we can cover. So, one question is about how to manage multiple portfolios within an enterprise in Jile, Neetu.
Yeah, so as I've shown you, you can have a layer of portfolio, and then within portfolio you can have multiple layers defined like program and teams, or you can also go ahead and within an Jile tenancy, right? So, okay, I have stopped sharing. You can create your own multiple portfolios within that same tenancy, and manage separate portfolios as separate work areas or containers altogether. So you can very well create multiple portfolios within an enterprise.
Correct. And can we have Scrum and Kanban teams working together within our program in Jile too?
So as I have shown, automotive has the combination of Scrum and Kanban teams, so they can work together obviously. So you can choose whether you want a single Scrum team or a combination of Scrum teams or a combination of Scrum and Kanban. So those flexibilities available in Jile for you to choose.
One question that has come, do you have Kanban boards where we can apply policies and WIP limits?
Yes, yes. We in the Kanban boards, you can very well apply your WIP limits of the entities which you are taking up for the team, and you can raise weight flags and policy status policies to those particular status. So yes, it is there.
All right. And can we create standalone epics which doesn't belong to any objective?
Yes, so all those entities, so the traceability which I have shown, right from your objective to your epics to features. So those are the linked which are getting from a parent entity to story level. However, Jile doesn't mandate that. You can obviously create standalone entities like epics or features or stories for that matter.
We have 1 minute left. I think we can cover one more question, Neetu, in that. There's one question: how we can store documents or archive for future audits?
Yeah, so in the last, as I've mentioned, that we have this document repository where you can store your files and make a reference to existing story or a feature, and as an attachment. The audit history is available for each entity, right? So The document audit is something else wherein you can, have your version control available, and then for each entity there is an audit history available wherein you can see what changes with respect to that story or features has been made and who has done that. So that audit history is very well maintained to keep a track of it.
All right, thank you, Neetu. Thank you. It was really insightful. And with this, we come to the end of the session. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Nupur. Thanks everyone for joining. Please do visit www.jile.io if you're interested to apply for Jile. Thanks a lot.